We have some guests, as Sam told you, from a major Brazilian union. It's called Força Sindical. That banner that you see over there was actually signed at the Renault plant in Brazil. At the Renault plant, they do make a model for Nissan. Nissan has a plant under construction in Brazil right now, but for right now, because they have an alliance with Renault, they do make both Renault and Nissan vehicles at that plant. So those are your union brothers and sisters that signed that in solidarity with workers here in Mississippi at the Nissan plant. So they brought that with them. They're going to leave it here as a token of their support. So, but they're doing a lot more, and they will be doing a lot more to support you. So with no further ado, we'll go through everybody eventually and introduce them, but I want to introduce the leader of the Brazilian delegation. His name is Miguel Torres. He's the president of the Metal Workers Union of Força Sindical. Força Sindical is something like the AFL-CIO. It's a lot of different unions. It's a union federation. And their metal workers are the ones that make cars and work at steel mills and shipbuilding and things of that nature. So he's the president of their Metal Workers Union, and he's vice president of the federation as a whole. So with that, please welcome Miguel Torres.
Boa noite aos todos os companheiros, companheiras. Com muito prazer estamos aqui. Companheiro Neco, nosso secretário internacional da Força Sindical, companheiro Sérgio Leite, nosso primeiro secretário da Força Sindical e presidente da Federação dos Químicos do Estado de São Paulo, e companheiro Ortélio, nosso assessor da área internacional, e a companheira Hélida, também assessora dos comerciários.
Good evening. It's a pleasure to be with all of you tonight. So we're, like Mark said, we're here, our delegation from the Força Sindical Brazil, and I'm here accompanied by Neco, who is the Secretary of International Relations of the Força Sindical, as well as Sergio Leite, is the first Secretary General of the Força Sindical on the national level, as well as the President of the Federation of Chemical Workers and Pharmaceutical Workers. And we are also with Ortélio, who's from an advisor for international relations for the Força Sindical, as well as the union sister there also is an advisor for the retail workers union.
A Força Sindical é uma central sindical brasileira que tem 1.700 sindicatos filiados de todas as categorias, com mais de 9,5 milhões de trabalhadores representados. É a segunda maior central sindical do Brasil, e na área privada, da indústria, do comércio, tirando os servidores públicos, é a maior. Então é uma grande central sindical, e eu trago aqui a vocês um abraço de todos os nossos filiados, que eles estão acompanhando a luta que vocês estão tendo aqui para serem reconhecido o direito de poder se associar a um sindicato. E essa ação
Força Sindical Brazil has approximately 1,700 unions affiliated to our federation. We represent approximately 9.5 million workers in Brazil. We're the second largest union federation in Brazil, and we are the largest in terms of the group of workers who work in the metalworking and the car industry in the country. And so we'd like to send a large greeting of solidarity to all of you here in Mississippi, and that to say that we're behind you all the way in your struggle for the freedom of association, the freedom to unionize here at Nissan.
Estamos hoje nessa missão aqui trazendo essa solidariedade dos trabalhadores do Brasil, diretamente da Força Sindical, a essa luta que vocês estão travando, uma luta que nós estamos vendo como a Nissan está tratando os trabalhadores aqui no Mississippi. Não é não é igual ao tratamento que ela dá em outras partes do mundo para os seus trabalhadores. Então ela está fazendo um laboratório para poder expandir isso depois para outras empresas. Então nós, como trabalhadores, como solidários, a luta de vocês vamos ajudar no que for possível.
So we're very concerned about what Nissan is doing here with workers in Mississippi because we know from our own experience, Nissan doesn't necessarily treat badly workers in other countries. But if they can get away with it here, then they're going to try to do that in Brazil, and other countries will also try to do that with workers, our workers that we represent in Brazil. And so for that reason, we definitely understand that this struggle is also our struggle and that we're going to do whatever possible to help you with.
E também é verdade que os trabalhadores só conseguem avançar, ter leis que favoreçam a ele, é na luta. Não tem governo que dá nada de graça, não tem político que faça nada de graça. Quem faz são os trabalhadores que lutam e conquistam. Sem a conquista, sem a luta, com certeza a gente não vamos avançar nunca. E essa experiência nós temos no Brasil, um país com dimensões continentais, com desigualdades muito grandes nesse território, mas aos poucos nós estamos conseguindo avançar nessa organização.
So we know from our own experience that it doesn't matter how many good laws you might have on the books, but if you don't struggle, you're not going to win anything. The government doesn't give you anything for free. The employers, the companies will not give you anything for free. You can only win these benefits and these rights through struggle. And so that's something that we know very much from our experience in Brazil. Because Brazil is a country, it's the size of a continent, it's very big. We still have many problems, a lot of inequalities, a lot of poverty, but at the same time what we have been able to advance in is through struggle.
Não podemos generalizar que todos os empresários, todas as empresas são más empresas, mas tem uma parcela que no mundo inteiro ela tenta tirar direito de trabalhadores e impedir que se avance as conquistas. Então esse movimento que vocês estão fazendo aqui é muito importante e vocês podem contar conosco. Uma das estratégias que o empresariado os maus patrões fazem é tentar apagar a história do movimento sindical. Não tentar fazer com que os trabalhadores tenham conhecimento das conquistas dos trabalhadores, que entrem no seu emprego, mesmo que os benefícios que tem na empresa, eles não ficam sabendo porque a empresa não deixa contar. E isso faz com que o trabalhador fique sem memória, fica sem uma memória da história sindical. Então isso também é uma outra atividade que as más empresas fazem.
So we know that not all companies are bad. There's obviously companies that do the right thing and treat their workers well, but we need to be present and be active to struggle against the ones that aren't doing the right thing. And we know that another thing that's very common for companies to do, big companies to do, is to try to rewrite the history of workers at their companies. So they try to change the history so that workers coming in to their jobs don't know that the benefits and the gains and the rights that they've been able to have at their employment was due to the struggle of workers before them. And so for that reason, we want to make sure that that history gets preserved, and we know that we need to have that struggle together with you.
Vamos fazer a nossa parte no Brasil, divulgando cada vez mais a luta que vocês estão travando aqui no Mississippi. Vamos mostrar para os consumidores da Nissan que tem no Brasil como a mentalidade de um empresário tente prejudicar e dividir os trabalhadores.
And so we know that in order to have the struggle together, we're willing to do concrete actions with you. We're going to help project an image of Nissan to consumers in Brazil who buy Nissan cars, that this is a company that's not doing the right thing here in Mississippi. We want to be able to change that image, work with them together, and that's why we're here bringing this message of solidarity, and that's also going to be solidarity in practice.
Então essa é uma grande atividade que nós vamos fazer junto também. Hoje nós definimos já uma estratégia, já no dia 7 de outubro, está fazendo algumas manifestações junto com o Dia pelo Trabalho Decente, que vai ter o Dia Mundial pelo Trabalho Decente, também colocando em pauta nesse dia o respeito da Nissan a seus trabalhadores e trabalhadoras. Então nós estamos com esse objetivo nesse primeiro momento. Também vamos organizar algumas manifestações nas revendas da Nissan no Brasil, para divulgar, soltando um boletim, mostrando o que eles estão vendo comprando um carro. Atrás desse carro tem uma marca, e atrás dessa marca tem os trabalhadores sendo perseguidos, sendo feito o que é de pior para o trabalhador. É o terrorismo sindical, é tentar diminuir o trabalhador com medo do desemprego, com medo de perder seu sustento. Isso nós não podemos admitir, isso é um assédio que nós não admitimos.
And so one thing that we've already committed ourselves to doing in support of your important cause is that on October 7th, which is the World Day for Decent Work, which is something that unions celebrate around the world, we're going to carry out actions in Brazil and have them be focused on in solidarity with the Nissan campaign here in Mississippi to highlight the bad practices of the company that's going on here. And we also are going to do dealership actions at different dealerships that sell Nissan cars in Brazil and try to make some kinds of materials, pamphlets that'll show to the potential consumers of Nissan cars in Brazil about behind this car exists a brand and a company that isn't respecting the rights of workers, the most fundamental rights, that they're practicing what we would call union terrorism. They're using the fear of unemployment, the fear of loss of benefits, to frighten people from standing up for themselves.
Então nós temos que ficar, vocês principalmente estão numa guerra, é uma luta que a gente sabe da dificuldade que tem, apesar de nós termos no Brasil outra legislação, né, que favorece até a nossa organização. Vocês aqui têm uma batalha muito dura, e essa batalha só vai ser vencida com a união, com a unidade dos trabalhadores, não abaixando a cabeça da empresa, se organizando no que é seu direito, que é o direito, o livre direito de se associar. Esse é o grande vantagem, essa é a motivação que você tem que ter, porque a imagem que nós temos, os brasileiros têm dos Estados Unidos, quando olhamos a bandeira dos Estados Unidos, a gente vê o sinônimo de liberdade, né, de democracia, de um país livre. E a Nissan não está respeitando a bandeira dos Estados Unidos e não está respeitando os trabalhadores. Então, eu deixo aqui a vocês essa colaboração de ação, né? E que vocês precisarem da força sindical, podem contar conosco. Precisa fazer intercâmbio, vamos fazer. Se precisar vir mais vezes aqui para a gente conversar, e vamos tentar cada vez mais se aproximar dos trabalhadores dos Estados Unidos, e com certeza vamos sair vitoriosos dessa luta, juntos, unidos, e como diz o velho jargão, trabalhador unido jamais será vencido. Obrigado.
Okay. I'll see if I can remember all that. Well, again, basically just saying that we're in solidarity with the campaign for Nissan, showing that, for example, our vision, we know that workers, again, we can't win anything without the struggle. We know that the struggle has to be together and united workers across borders. It's something very important. We've learned a lot already from this campaign, because when we as Brazilian workers have a vision of the United States. When we look at the American flag, we see a symbol of liberty, of freedom, of hope. And obviously what's going on in Nissan here in Mississippi is exactly the opposite of that. So we're going to be with you. We're going to be carrying out actions. If we need to do more exchanges, worker-to-worker exchanges between Brazil and the United States, we're happy to come back and be with you all the way, because as the sort of old slogan goes, the workers united will never be defeated.
So again, just want to say that the Brazilian unions have been working on your behalf. I want to acknowledge Morris, Wayne, and Carl Patton. They had an opportunity to go to Brazil for about a week back in July, and they were also working on behalf of you all. They did some actions with some of the unions over there. And then Mr. Torres, we want to thank him, because before he even came here and heard about the struggle of the Nissan workers, he published a beautiful op-ed in a national newspaper. So hopefully you all got an opportunity to get the Our Voice magazine, where it highlights the trips over in Brazil and some of the work that has been done, the work that is being done on your behalf. these unions want to hear from you, so they're on a fact-finding mission. They've spoken to the UAW, and we've shared some of your stories. They got an opportunity to meet with the Jackson mayor today, and he's interested in helping out in any way that he can to support your struggle. They met with local civil rights leaders and religious leaders today who explained to them that they are in this fight with you guys. So what we want to do is, I know it's a lot of us in the room, and we want them to hear from everybody, so I'm asking, I know that I haven't slowed down, Jenna, but if everybody could kind of just take at least 2 minutes or less to tell them your name, the department that you work in, and what is your struggle. Some of you in the room have been in this fight for the last 7, 8 years and wanting to organize your union at Nissan, and then we've got some people who just recently got on board in the last year or two. As Matthew said, 10 years he's been in the struggle. So it's important for our guests to know why you all want to unionize. Why do you want a free and fair election? What's going on that you don't feel as though you're having a say in the workplace? So Barbara has a mic. I'm not sure how we're gonna, I guess we can start on this side of the room and pass the mic and work our way up. But again, we've got some more food in the back. We went out and got some more food. So if you want something to eat, go back in the back and help yourself. There's more food that's been replenished. So we're gonna start with Matthew. And again, try to keep your comments to 2 minutes or less.
My name is Matthew Thornberry. I'm a two-word guy. To me, my struggle with Nissan, our struggle, most of it's, to me, it's politics. And Nissan is using American politics to get around everything that's going on and what they're getting away with at this point. I mean, I'm seeing injustices all around us. I mean, look at taxes. The super rich are getting away with taxes in this country and not paying the same percentage of tax that we're paying. There's so many things that there should be unions all over this country. We're being robbed.
So we're gonna pause after each person so that she can interpret.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was your name again?
Matthew Fancher.
Ok, seu nome é Matthew, ele basicamente estava perguntando por que você tem um sindicato. Ele falou tem um tema político, e aí tem uma situação aqui que os grandes empresas não pagam impostos, mas o trabalhador pobre tem.
Hi, good evening. My name is Joe Quijarosa, and I speak a little accent, you know, you understand, you can ask me back, you know. I'm originally from Cuba, and I came to America in 1995. I'm very proud to live in this country. It's a free country, a lot of people don't see that, you know. I work in Nissan in 2004, and when I started, I was very happy. The thing is, you know, I decided to be in Nissan. Today I say, you know, I started working in Nissan because taking advantage of the employer, abuse. You say something, you go to the office, you go to the section manager, you say, well, man, it is what it is, you know. Treat you like a child, you know. Your supervisor holler to you or call me before you. If Mexican, you know, you go to the section manager, you go to the personnel, the section manager said you holler to him, I don't holler to him, you know. And one more thing is, before when I started working in Nissan, we had cost of living, you know. And later take it out. He said, no, we're gonna give it to you, the cost of living every 6 months, like a bonus. Every 6 months, one bonus. I know. They did that only one time, huh? I said, later say, oh, we don't give it down no more. And after that, you know, step for step, benefits is going, and you know, and we are, for me, we are a number, like a car, you know. We are nobody, you know, because when you got one idea, you know, or you have something to say, so you said too much, you come in trouble. See somebody kind of started kind of respect to you. I come to my boss, I say something. This guy is my boss, friend. He take it from him, he don't take it from me. He do some kind of paper, the guy a troublemaker. And sending me to anger management, all kind of stuff. I don't want to lose back because nobody take from me. And when I hear about the junior, you know, I come in here, and this place here give me, you know, a lot of support, you know. We'll stay here to the day, you know, we win this fight, you know. All right, thank you.
My name is Alan Calloway. I work in the stamping department, and one issue I have that the company making record profits every year, but they constantly cutting our benefits. They stopped our pension in December of last year. The bonuses, well, the bonus don't exist anymore anyway. They call it a bonus, but it's really a 125 bonus, which is our money. They take out of our regular pay every week anyway. But the company making record profits, and every time you turn, they taking a benefit from you. Insurance not when we first got hired. They promised us a certain amount of raise they were going to give us. They didn't give us those raises they were going to give us. They stopped that. And then, like I said, in December, they stopped our pension. You had people that left jobs coming to Nissan. They told them they're going to have a pension, they do a good retirement. And some of the people left jobs that had some kind of pension. Now they don't have a pension at all anymore now. It's just not right.
Kind of a response to what you just said, so we're gonna let him talk for just a minute.
Ok, rapidamente. Primeiro, cumprimentar aqui os trabalhadores e as trabalhadoras da Nissan e comentava aqui com o nosso presidente Miguel que daqui a alguns anos, certamente, nós vamos voltar aqui, quem sabe, é isso que nós temos que buscar, uma situação totalmente diferente.
So just wanted to make a comment that we were just talking here with our President Miguel here about what we're hearing tonight from you all, and just would say that we would like to be able to come back here to Mississippi in a few years, but in a totally different, have a totally different situation.
E só haverá e acontecerá essa mudança através de um único instrumento de luta existente, que é o movimento sindical, que é a organização em sindicato. E vocês estão buscando esse direito básico da democracia, que é poder se organizar em sindicato. Que podendo, conquistando a organização, esse direito a essa organização, com certeza, participação nos lucros e resultados, o seguro-saúde, o respeito dentro da fábrica, a questão da proteção da jornada de trabalho, o controle da jornada de trabalho e o avanço nos direitos sociais, certamente nas negociações coletivas, nas mobilizações e na unidade eles virão.
And so we hope that these changes happen when we are able to come back here a few years from now through the recognition of what we recognize as the most important instrument to win power in a workplace, which is obviously the union, which is not just an important instrument at the workplace, but it's also an important instrument for democracy. And we know that all these issues that we're talking about here, the problems with healthcare, the problems with pensions, the problems with benefits, the problems with all these with salaries, they're only going to get resolved once you actually are able to have a recognized union and negotiate collectively your first contract. And we hope that, and through that contract, we know better solve this issue of the work days and the 6-hour, 7-hour work, 6 day, 7 day work weeks, and have respect, because in the end, it's all about respect.
A Nissan Renault no Brasil, o ano passado, né, Miguel, ela teve uma distribuição de lucros, uma PLR, uma participação nos lucros, em torno de $15 mil por trabalhadores. $15 mil por trabalhador. Então, foi uma importante negociação dos sindicatos juntamente com os trabalhadores, inclusive com paralisações, inclusive com greve. Tá? O que nós queremos reforçar aqui, deixar de mensagem para vocês, é que essa luta dos trabalhadores da Nissan dos Estados Unidos, do Mississippi, ela já se tornou uma luta do movimento sindical mundial. Porque num país que é o símbolo da democracia, espalha a democracia pelo mundo, você ter uma proibição de se organizar em sindicato, certamente isso passa a ser uma negação da democracia.
So just to get a sense of what we've been able to do in Brazil through the work and the struggle of our union, and obviously that represents Renault workers in Brazil, they were able to get a profit sharing agreement for all workers on top of their base salaries of $15,000 last year. And of course, this wasn't something that was free. They had to go on strike to get that agreement. They had to negotiate hard, but it is something you can win. It's possible. And again, we understand that this struggle is not going to be something that you're going to be able to win without our support, without this outside support. Again, just as Miguel said, we see the United States as a symbol of democracy. It's a country that respects democracy, but how is that democracy isn't real if we have what's going on here in Mississippi where the workers of Nissan can't have their democratic right to join a union be recognized. So that's why we're going to be together with you in this struggle and turn this struggle on global labor struggle.
Quero apenas agradecer e dizer que foi muito utilizado aqui uma frase nos Estados Unidos, que nós podemos. Então, vocês, trabalhadores, podem e vão conquistar.
So just want to thank you all for what you're doing here and say that it's a pleasure to be with you tonight and use a phrase that I think you've heard before, which is, yes, we can. So yes, we know you can.
Next on my
Just keep it there for your 1 or 2 minutes so we can ready.
Oh, my name is Wade Cox, and I've been with Nissan like 10 years now. And I think one of the biggest issues that we have, we don't have a voice. Obviously because we don't have a union. A lot of issues that we're dealing with is safety issues. We have a lot of people getting hurt on the job. They hadn't addressed that. Also, we got a big issue right now with temps, with temporary workers. Right now, I think Nissan is really putting regular workers against the one that supports the union. They have a big problem with union, so they'll put their regular workers against the union. So that's some of the issues that we're dealing with right now. So we want you guys to know that there are many issues, but there's just a few that we really concentrate on, educating our co-workers about. Thank you.
I visited her yesterday.
O gerente da empresa, nível mundial, que estava aqui ontem.
He's supposed to be up under Carlos Dome, or somewhere up there, way up high in Nissan. Well, he came to the plant in February, and he said that Nissan, the Canton plant, did bad work 2011 to 2012, it was even worse. But in that time, they say that we're supposed to go from 220,000 vehicles a year to making maximum capacity 450,000 vehicles a year. They hire 1,500 temps. Their plan was so bad that they parked over 16,000 vehicles around the plant. Incomplete vehicles rolling off the line. Now, how is that my fault? How is that anybody's fault in this room? They laid a very poor plan, and they blamed it on us. Sorry.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam.
Hey, how you doing? My name is Ramel Nash. I work with Body Shop and with Paint Systems. Our main challenge is just one thing. It's fear. That's it. Everybody know we need a union. Everybody wants a union. But they fear that Nissan is going to retaliate. You know, they feel like the people that's in here now, once all this said and done, you know, that they're going to try to come after us. They sitting back and they waiting and watching, hoping that something, you know, Nissan is going to retaliate. So our worst struggle is just fear. And this country was built on unions from the beginning. And it's hard for me to understand and realize why we have to fight so hard for something we had all the time. And we have this Southern mentality that the North created the unions, the South do not want the unions. And so it's mental. And so people really feel and realize that think that the union doesn't exist in the South. We fight so hard for policemen, firefighters, our soldiers, all around the world, and in the United States especially. But we do not fight as hard for labor rights. Our rights have been taken away so many times. It is hard for us to understand and realize that it's going to spread. If we allow this to happen in the United States, it's going to happen in Brazil. It's going to happen everywhere because they're going to bring everything here. As long as we keep accepting cheaper labor, that's what's going to happen to us. Fear is the most important thing that we have to fight right now.
Por causa da tradução, tem que esperar para traduzir, não dá para dar emoção.
We've seen firsthand what they can do. We've seen the action at the dealership. We've seen them pretty much shut a dealership down. No sales whatsoever, protesting on our behalf. We know exactly whatever they say they're going to do, they're going to do. All right? I just want to make sure you know. Get the fear out of your throat. Don't get the fear out of your throat. Because whatever they say they're going to do, they're going to do. I ask the question, what are you going to do? There you go. What are you going to do? Dealership, protest. Everybody screaming, protest. We're behind you, Nissan. We're behind you, Nissan. Am I right? The factory, the Renault factory. Look at that. Look at all those signatures right there. By the busload. They were in by the busload. No production being done on our behalf. That's when Japan decided to, hey, we need to meet these people. Doing this. These are my brothers. These are my brothers. But what are we going to do? What are we going to do? We need to step. I love that. What we going to do? Well, I can't hear. What we going to do? Same thing. We're going to do the same thing. Yes, sir. Y'all ready to do the same thing? Yes, sir. When are we going to do it? We're going to do it like yesterday. Right? Yes, sir. Handful of cars inside the factory. Let's get this thing done. Handful of cars inside the factory. Let's get it done. What are we waiting on? People are steady getting hurt. Now, I'm getting a little emotional on this because I had a lady come to me yesterday and she said her nose was bleeding because she was breathing in too much paint. She said, my nose is bleeding. The downdraft loop is not working. And the manager gave her a dust mask instead of a gas mask. And we're going to have to prove them wrong. Truly have to prove them wrong. We have some of the strongest people ever in this room. Let's step it up. Let's step it up.
Okay.
Good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank our Brazilian friends for coming to support us. But when I look at a struggle, you know, we all unite together. But for me, you all come in unity, but it's also something we have to do as an individual. So you have to ask yourself a question. What is my purpose? What is your purpose in this cause? Now we can sit, we can go to our jobs, and we can say, okay, yeah, we fighting. We're not getting the benefits that we should.